Jess, I am going to hand it over to Sanaz, but you are here for our amazing microbiome series. And so each month we'll discuss a topic, whether it's an herb or just some part of the microbiome system. But these herbs that we talk about are to help fortify everything inside your microbiome, too. So I am going to hand it off to Sanaz first, the amazing Sanaz, by the way, and then I'll take it over from her in a little bit.
Thank you, Chef Jess. Hi, everybody. I'm Sanaz Demehry, the herbalist and integrative practitioner here. I am so excited for today's talk. Driving over, Chef Jess, I was just thinking how incredibly lucky the participants are today, because they're going to see you cook with the herbs, and see how herbs and medicine are actually, a part of our nutrition, and how you can cook with them and have them as part of your meals. So I just love when those two meet and collide, because it just makes life easier for our participants and people in general to stay healthy, because all they got to do now is just eat, right? They don't have to add something else into their diet. So anyways, enough about that gibberish. Let's get started. I hope all of you have access to the chat, and feel free to put any questions in there or comments for us. We will try to go through them and address them as we go along. And any comments or anything, just feel free to put in there. So I'm excited you guys are all here. And we hope that through our talk today, we make you guys a wee bit healthier. Okay. So let's get going here on my first slide. Okie dokie. Okay, so this is the first herb that I want to talk about. Anybody know what this is by just looking at it? Oh, you don't have access to, okay, you don't have access to the chat, just Q&A. Okay, so in the Q&A, anybody want to put in there what they think this is? This is an herb that is used a lot in traditional Chinese medicine, and it's prescribed a lot for general weakness, for chronic illnesses, but really helps strengthen the immune system. I use it to, good guesses. Hi, Catherine, good to see you back. Good guesses, but not, I don't see it yet. But it can look like any of those things. I've got ginger, I've got ginkgo, I've got willow bark, I've got chicory root. Oh, look, Chef Jess, somebody's on to that one. But this is used a lot in traditional Chinese medicine. It's really a strong prebiotic too, and it helps reduce inflammation. Oh, I can't handle the suspense anymore. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on the next slide for y'all. Let me just click on this. Astragalus, okay? So it's astragalus, it's like the root sliced in half. So if I put a picture of the root itself, maybe you guys would have probably got it. So maybe that was a trick question. But I love astragalus. I cook with astragalus. I put it in our oatmeal. You can put it in soups and rice and basically cook with it, and then take the stick and throw it out. I leave the stick in just because I forget. And my kids are always like, Mom, did you cook with sticks again? And I say, yes, because they're good for you. So that's something that you can use in your food. And Chef Jess has a really cool recipe that she's going to do too. So used in traditional Chinese medicine, it's been shown to help prevent recurrent respiratory infections. So during this time, I have patients that I see that always get the flu or always get sick, or they're cold every winter, goes straight to their lungs. And I think astragalus. And I have seen patients go through the winter months without getting what they always get or feel like they're just, destined for. It really helps. I use it a lot in my asthma patients too, because it's really good for the lungs. It's a good lung tonic. Really good for allergies. In one study, they found that it actually reduced the IgE, which is, if you do blood tests, it comes up when you have a lot of allergies. And in Europe and in the US, it's, again, immune system. For cancer treatments, it helps strengthen the bone marrow, and it helps white blood cells stay elevated. So a lot of times when people are going through cancer treatments, the white blood cells kind of tank and their immune system tanks. So cooking with this and bone marrow increases white blood cell count in cancer patients, which is really kind of cool. Helps with cardiovascular and kidney function. They use it a lot in traditional Chinese medicine for the kidneys and the heart. And again, really good for treating respiratory infections. Also a strong prebiotic, reduces inflammation. And in vitro, like in petri dishes, they found that it actually has helpful against the avian coronavirus directly, and has a lot of antiviral activities. So really good. Another study shows it helps with allergic rhinitis. So if you constantly get those, allergies during the winter or pollen season, it helps with that too. So think of astragalus if you want to improve your immune system during the winter months. And I have a couple things here. These are some supplements. Again, these are just examples. Talk to your doctor, make sure all of that is checked off. But these are two brands. So on the orange one, I think it's my left. I think it's your left too. The Now brand, it's a standardized extract, right? So it's a little bit stronger. You get the standardized extract. And you can take one a day. And then on the right, the Nature's Way brand, which I love. I love Nature's Way. It's a German brand, really clean, a lot of research behind it. That's just the dried root. So you have to take a little bit more of that because you're just basically getting the astragalus ground up, put in a capsule, and you swallow it. But, if you want to, if you want to add it to your food, get a big thing of it from an herbal shop, Mountain Rose, Frontier, wherever. Get the organic, put it in soups, rice, oatmeal, beans, anything you cook in. And then that helps improve your immune system. And if you love teas like I do and are obsessed with herbal teas, you can make an astragalus tea. And it's super duper simple. Just put some of the dried root, simmer it on low heat for about an hour in a quart of water. And then you can refrigerate it and drink about a half a cup per day. And that helps with your immune system too. So lots of ways we can get this in our diet. And last is just swallowing the standardized extract if we can't integrate it into our food. And I think Chef Jess has a chicken soup recipe with astragalus and mushrooms, which all help with the immune system. So I'm so excited about that recipe. Okay. I think we're going to go on this one. I think y'all are going to guess. Okay, what do we think this is? Astragalus is safe in all ages because it's food. Yes, and someone is using it for their colon, which is awesome. Yes, elderberry. Yes. Good job. And one question we had is, what does astragalus taste like? It has a pretty mild taste. It's not strong. It's not overbearing. It's a little bit sweet, but it's very gentle. It's not overpowering by any means. So I like the taste. It's very soothing. It's not bitter, and it's not pungent. So it's pretty mild and a little bit sweet, I would say. Okay, just answering some questions. So this is elderberry, right? So how many of you take elderberry during the winter season, right? A lot of us. I think it's now. I the other day heard an advertisement on it on the radio. Whoops. Sorry. So it's very common in the grocery store. You see it any store. It doesn't have to be a health food store anymore. Protects against different strains of influenza. So this is probably the most effective in prevention of early stages of a different strain of coronavirus they found. And they found that it also improves symptoms of influenza and improving it by an average of 4 days. So you get better faster, right? And it reduces the severity of the symptoms. So it's super good tasting. Chef Jess is going to make a little syrup with it. I think it's cough syrup with thyme and gummies. So it tastes good. Kids love to eat it. What else? Elderberry also reduces influenza A and influenza B. And they did one study too, where it showed for the H1N1 virus a while back that was kind of big. It was just as effective as our antiviral medication, Tamiflu and amantadine. So it has a very potent antiviral activity, safe in children and adults. And you want to get one that has about 5,000 to 6,000 milligrams of black elderberry fruit in the extract, and take it 1 to 4 times a day. I make a syrup every winter, and we, just take a couple spoons And then, like I said, Chef Jess is going to come up with a really cool recipe that you can make at home, have in the refrigerator, and have the whole family just consume it throughout the winter months to help prevent upper respiratory infections and keep your immune system up. So if you do get the flu or anything, you recover much faster, right? It's all about becoming resilient to a lot of these viruses out there. We can't necessarily go in a cave and avoid it, but we can build our body in a way that we're much more resilient and recover and recoup a lot faster. Okay, so this guy is coughing up a storm, right? So Americans spend about $3.5 billion a year on over-the-counter cough and cold remedies. And the number one reason people go to their primary care physicians is a cough. And I've seen that a lot in my peds patients lately. They come in and the cough's not going away. They got sick, but they have this lingering cough. So now the World Health Organization recognizes honey for coughs, but we have something that also works amazing for coughs. And don't all yell it out at once, but tell me what you think this is. So the syrup, usually when I make, I mean, Chef Jess can tell you hers, but if you put honey in it, it'll last a couple of weeks, like about 2 to 4 weeks. And you can buy elderberry at any herbal store, Mountain Rose, Frontier. Yes, this is thyme. Thyme. Okay, so before you start reading the slide, because I clicked too fast, just listen to me for a second. So thyme is an antitussive, so it helps with coughs. It's an expectorant. It has antimicrobial properties to it, so it's antibacterial. It's antispasmodic, so it helps with the spasming of a cough. And the flavonoids and the volatile oils like thymol and those in it also have a very antifungal. So that's why there's also thymol like in Listerine or mouthwashes, because it's very antifungal too. And we even use some tinctures or some version of it for like thrush, which is like fungal infection of the mouth, or sometimes vaginal yeast too, because it has antifungal and it's a potent antiseptic too. So it's used in other things because of that. And I love thyme. It's one of our most revered herbs. I love it for upper respiratory infections, cough. I love it for congestion. I love it for asthma. The German authorities approved thyme for treating symptoms of bronchitis, whooping cough, and congestion of the upper respiratory tract. And it helps with the mucus, getting all the mucus out. It helps get the phlegm out. It's just amazing for coughs. And I put a recipe of the cough syrup, but I know Chef Jess is going to make one with thyme and elderberry, so I would hold out on her recipe if I were you. But I also make thyme honey, which you just take fresh or dry thyme, you fill it in a jar. If it's fresh, you fill it about like I do, like maybe a half. If it's dry, I do about a third, and then put raw local honey and let it steep for about 2 to 4 weeks. And after that, you just put a teaspoon in your tea and you have a natural thyme cough syrup mixed with honey, which is also highly recommended for cough. So you put two powerful things together and voila, you have yourself one of the best cough remedies, and you don't have to go over the counter and buy it, and you don't have to make an appointment with your primary care physician for it because you already got all the good stuff. Okay. Here is a product that I love, just so you know, you have something if you start getting sick this winter. No, we're not going to manifest it. We're going to manifest y'all are going to be healthy. But if you get sick, I love this product. It's like a 5-day intense wellness supplement. You take 2 tablets 3 times a day for 5 days, and it nips it in the butt. Okay. And then you stop. So this has vitamin C, zinc, elderberry, which we talked about, echinacea, which has been shown to help just the first couple days. So you have to take it right at the beginning. And then andrographis, which I love, which I didn't get to talk about, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to try to squeeze it in here. So andrographis is used a lot in like Southern Asia, Indian subcontinents, Iran. and it's used for fever, sore throats. And in China, in Taiwan, and Singapore, I don't know, Chef Jess, if you know about this, but it's actually been approved for treatment of COVID, and it's used for influenza and other things as well. But really good thing for coughs and immune system too is another herb that's in here. So I love this product, not endorsing it, check with your physician, all that good stuff, but really good to have on hand if you ever start feeling like you might be getting sick. Okay, and then this is another recipe that's a good tea for when you're feeling sick. A lot of ginger in there, a lot of cayenne pepper, some lemon juice, some honey. It's gonna just melt all those bacteria away. It's pretty potent. Get under a little blanket, smell it, inhale it, and just sip on it as your health improves. You can take a little screenshot of this if you want. So 5 takeaways from today. Astragalus can be used to cook in your food or taken separately as a supplement. It helps with your immune system. Elderberry has been used for a long time and is super duper uber safe in children and adults. Several studies showing that it does reduce the severity and duration of influenza. And then thyme is a powerhouse for upper respiratory infections, cough, and congestion. And I think that is it. Let's see. Yes. So, Chef Jess, that is my portion, I believe. I'm going to just take a quick look at some of the questions until you get on. And I also just want to mention that during the holiday season, stress is also kind of a big influencer on our immune system. So be mindful of that as while you're taking all these herbs. There's a lot going on, and I think we're just kind of uniquely stressful times. So a lot of the struggle is processing everything that's happening around us, a lack of time. So just make sure you take time to do some mindfulness exercises, breathing exercises, gratitude, grounding, whatever it is, even if it's just a couple minutes a day to help you ground and help your immune system get stronger by managing the stress and making you more resilient to stress. This is Dr. Andrew Weil and Dr. Lodog, who is here today. And they just want to thank them for mentoring me through knowing all the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys to empower you guys and make y'all super duper healthy. Oh, and you can't see the takeaways. Okay, so can you copy and paste? Yes, I can. Okay, so apparently the takeaways, sorry, I updated today. The takeaways you guys can't see, but I will go ahead and put that in the final draft of the slideshow so you guys can do it. And then the immune defense should be on there. I'll try to find it. I'm just looking at the Q&A. It should be on there. You can get it at like Sprouts or Mother's or Whole Foods, but I'll try to find that direct link too and give it to Camber, who's helping me run this. Okay, and then somebody said stay hydrated. Yes, lots of water. And herbal teas. I love herbal teas. They have lots of good immune herbal teas too. If you're like, oh my God, this is so much work, I just want to go buy something. That's totally okay. Traditional medicinals I love, and I also love yogi. So I would go and get those from the store if this is all, you just don't have that much time, and that's okay. Go get those brands. Those are really good, and they have stuff with elderberry and astragalus, and some have echinacea in them, and then you can maybe just get a little thyme plant and throw that in your tea, and voila, that's the quick and fast and dirty version. Right, Chef Jess?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I'm so excited about your portion. I can't wait for us to learn about all the fun ways to incorporate this stuff in our foods.
Do you have a comment about the zinc?
Studies show that it takes more than 75 milligrams of zinc to reduce the severity of colds. How do you recommend reaching this dose, minimizing? Zinc you can't really take at that dose long term because it does decrease copper in your body. So I usually recommend 25 to 30 milligrams a day as a maintenance dose so that you don't piss off your copper. And astragalus is safe in high blood pressure. Yeah, astragalus is safe.
All right. Okay, so then I need you to stop sharing and I will share away.
Okay, Chef Jess. I am stopped. Take it away.
Yay. Thank you for all of that.
Thank
I
you.
learn something. I learn every time too. And it's funny because guess what? I have my Yogi elderberry lemon balm immune and stress tea ready to
My
go
God,
every day.
we
And so,
didn't
yep,
even plan this. I love it.
no, I didn't. It's always there. It's always there for me. So we're going to do 3 really fun recipes right now. They are fun in the sense that it's not something that you would normally maybe make at home. And I know there's a lot of questions about where we bought a lot of these products. And so I will say Amazon is where I usually go for things like this, mainly because I like to go by reviews, like thousands and thousands of reviews of things because you don't know where you're getting it from. So the elderberry that I got today was Purify Life. And it works really, really well. It's got great reviews online. They're dried.
Yeah.
I don't really know where else to buy them in store. I'm assuming you might be able to find them at Whole Foods, or I haven't seen them at Sprouts, but you might be able to. So you can find them in the store, and they come in a bag, or you can buy them online, and they come in a bag. They're tiny. They kind of look like mini frozen blueberries. So like if you've ever had the mini blueberries, the frozen ones, the Maine, they look like that. This cost, I think, about $28, and it's 1 pound. I have been able to make quite a lot of elderberry syrup just from what I have. So I'm going to show you what I did. So right here, I have my elderberries right here, sitting in there. And then I'm going to add ginger. So I'm going to add a few slices of ginger.
Yum.
I'm wondering if I could add turmeric in here because I always try to add turmeric into everything, I feel like. Yeah. But then I was like, oh, then where's the pepper? So,
Yeah. You're like me. Anywhere you can add it, you're like, okay, I can sneak it in.
exactly. And then we've got French thyme. We grow this outside, and I like this a lot more. Growing thyme, you get a better effect than buying it in store. I like it when the stems are a little rough and tough because it helps us take the leaves off then later. So you can use them. You can buy them fresh. You can use what you have at home. But I'm just going to add that all in there with the stem because then it's easier to come off later on. You can use dried elderberries in smoothies, I would think. I would probably hydrate them first, though, like this.
Yes.
And cardamom. So then we also have some cardamom to go. Only one, but I thought Sanaz was making tea the other day, and so I thought this would be fun to show everyone. Since you have access to all of this stuff in store, cardamom. There's actually 2 types, for those who didn't know. There is a green and there's a black. I don't know how much truth there is in this, but I've been taught that the green is the female and the black is the male. Don't know. But what I've also been told is the green is for sweet things and the black is for savory things. I keep it that way, but what I want people to realize is that when a recipe calls for cardamom, yeah, you can put the whole thing in, but what they're actually asking for is the seeds in the inside. So you can take the back of your knife and just give it a tap a couple times, and it'll expose the seeds. You can actually buy just the seeds. It's expensive because somebody had to go through the trouble of taking it all out. All I need you to do is open up the pod like that and just put it right into the syrup. And then I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. So if you had a cinnamon stick, please use a cinnamon stick. I just didn't have one anymore. I thought I had cinnamon sticks, but I don't. So now that all sits, and I'm just going to let that simmer until it reduces by half. Okay? Now, after it reduces by half, I'm going to add my honey. Mm-hmm. So I've already made this so that I strained it out and everything. And you can use a cheesecloth and kind of like squeeze all of it out, or you can do what I did, and I'll show you. You've seen me use it before, I think, but it's a mill. So this is a French a mill. And what it does is it's able to extract, we did this with the artichoke hearts, it's able to extract a lot more out of the elderberries
Oh
and
my
really
God.
give you
I
like
love it.
this nice syrup. Okay, so now that's cooking.
I use the cheesecloth, Chef Jess, and that's
Yes.
so much messier than what you're doing. So I love that you're using that.
Yep. So the cheesecloth, I mean, and then it turns everything red, and then yeah, you can't use it again. But if that's all you have, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you can, having a mill around, if you like to puree things, it's a lot easier. So this is the reduced syrup already. So I made some ahead of time. Okay, so if you look, it's nice and thick. It's got the honey added to it. Now I'm going to show you how to change this or transform this into gummies. So I'm going to bring this not up to a boil, but like a simmer, okay? So just a little bit hot, not super hot, but a little bit. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of honey. So the gummies do use a little bit more sugar, honey, and you don't have to use honey. You can use agave maybe, or maple. Date syrup is my new favorite. But the honey has got the benefits, that's why. So we're gonna add that in. And then so I really wanted to make gummies. I really wanted to show people how to make gummies, but I knew that the one problem would be that gelatin is a problem in a lot of these jellies or gummies that we eat. So I thought, okay, I'm going to show you how to use agar for this. But you need to understand that the consistency with cooking with agar is never going to be exactly the same as gelatin. Gelatin has chew. Agar is just soft. And so it's got a little bit of a resistance, but nothing like gelatin, because gelatin you almost have to like chew through. But agar you can find easily in most Asian grocery stores. I have this one called the Telephone brand, yeah, of all things. But it comes in a powder. The only way that agar dissolves, though, is it needs to be heated thoroughly, okay? And so you're going to cook it on the stove low until it thickens up. So I'm going to turn this on now, and I'm just going to sprinkle it in. And you can play with the consistency. If you feel like this is too chewy for you, reduce it. You don't have to add all of it. I like it because it gives it a nice bite, so it feels like you're eating a jelly almost. So then that's going to cook until it's thick. And while we wait for that, I'll show you in a little bit what it looks like, but I'll show you what the end product is. You've got these cute little jellies.
Oh, that's
and you can get a mold, yeah, and then you just pop them out.
I love it. I love elderberry gummies. They taste so good. They're just
They
perfect
do.
for gummies.
And think how much you pay for them in the store,
Yes.
too. Like, you can make this and you're ready to go. Somebody asked earlier, how long can I store the syrup for? And I said 6 months. Now, that's I'm being generous there because there's a lot of sugar in here. But that's also expecting you to take care of your products, meaning that it's refrigerated, airtight, and all of that stuff. Now, to make it a little bit safer, or if you're trying to make this last a little bit longer, add a little bit of citrus. So add like acid of some sort, whether it be lemon juice, which would be great in this too, lemon peel. Any of those things would work to help extend its shelf life a little bit more. So if you want to reach for the 6 months, put a little bit of lemon, like lemon juice or lemon zest in there, just to get it nice and good. So now you've got all these jellies ready to go, and you're like, okay, but what happens if I don't want to buy a mold? Perfectly fine. You don't need to buy a mold. All you have to do is this. Just grab a sheet tray and pour it out nice and thin. And then you can go in, and it's like almost like making leather out of it. You can peel it off, and it's like, what do you call it? Fruit roll-ups.
Fruit
You can make
yes,
elderberry fruit roll-ups. Yeah, see? And you can make elderberry. And then your kid will never know the difference. So there you
don't
go.
even have to tell them. They won't.
Nope.
I love it.
It tastes like candy. So
So good.
it really does. Let's see how thick this is getting now. So what you want to do is when you pull at the bottom of the pan, you can see the silver. Do you see how you can almost see the silver of the bottom of the pan? So I'm just cooking this until it's thick. Once it's thick, though, you are not given a lot of time. So agar isn't as forgiving as gelatin in that it sets pretty fast. So as soon as this cools down, it'll be jello-like.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one of the things I love about elderberry is it's medicine and it tastes good. So
Yep.
kids will enjoy the taste, adults will enjoy the taste. It's just like you can just use it as a snack sometimes.
Do you ever find it fresh? And if you do, what time of year? Do you know?
I have herbalist friends that, live in places where they go and find it fresh, but I have
Mm.
never had the chance to work with fresh elderberry.
Yeah. So I did, because I did give you guys a recipe. I gave you the recipe in the sense like if you're making this syrup, if you have fresh, you don't need that much water. Because we add that much water just because we're trying to reconstitute the elderberries too. So that's the reason for all the water. But if you can get fresh ones, I wonder if you could buy frozen ones at. So we were making fun because the one place you find a lot of elderberries is IKEA. I wonder if they have them frozen.
So get next to the meatballs. I'll look.
Yes, exactly. So now that's nice and thick. And again, I don't really want it to boil just because it's got honey in it. I don't want to lose too many of because overheating it, you start losing some of the benefits of these things. Just like we were learning, totally off topic, but we did talk about probiotics. And we talk a lot about the Mediterranean diet here. So while we wait for this, I'm going to give you another little fun fact. A lot of people will say, hey, you can eat fermented. Part of the Mediterranean diet is that you can eat fermented cheeses because they contain probiotics. And somebody finally asked the question, well, what's a fermented cheese if not all cheese is fermented? Great question. And the answer is this: Swiss cheeses and feta. Now, why? Because those cheeses are fermented, but then they aren't pasteurized afterwards or heated up. So you never lose any of the benefits of that probiotic that went into the cheese. So if you're looking for a good cheese, like a probiotic cheese, your Swiss cheeses or any cheese that isn't heated up after it's been fermented is good for you.
I love that. That's good to know. And feta is a Mediterranean cheese, so it's kind of like, it goes.
Makes sense.
If that makes sense. The Swiss, I'm not sure how, but I'll take it. Good to know.
Random, yeah. It's just somebody asked, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't know the answer to that. So usually these come with like little droppers, right? And you can use a dropper to fill each cavity individually over time, and it takes quite a while. I mean, it's fun, but like I said, this sets very, very quickly. So what I like to do is I'll fill this whole thing and go all the way around.
Somebody's asking the difference between Swiss and Jarlsberg cheese. Chef
It's the
Jeff?
same.
No? Same
It's
thing.
the same. Yep, you can eat yep, that's a good one. Yeah. One of my students was very happy to hear that Swiss cheeses was okay. So then I'll just go back. Hold it in your hand if you can. Oh, yeah, I did it. There we go. And then scrape off the extra.
Someone's asking if cheddar cheese has.
Nope. Cheddar's been heated.
Nice try, anonymous.
Nope, not gonna work. There you go.
Way to slip that one in.
Yep. There you go. So now you've got these ready to go. They'll set in about 5 minutes.
Oh, that's perfect
You got
for
little
Valentine's
hearts.
Day. I love it.
Yes.
Look at that.
You got little elderberry to go. So now let's make our marinated mushrooms. We're going to make some marinated mushrooms. And the way we're going to do that is use, obviously, mushrooms. So you saw that. Let me grab this over here. So mushrooms are great. Contain both soluble and insoluble fiber. And so And what's interesting is the stem has a lot of fiber. So if you're somebody that says, I don't eat stems, eat the stems. No, I'm just kidding. If you don't, it's fine. But they do contain most of the fiber. Shiitake mushrooms being the most, because if you look at a shiitake mushroom stem, even if you try to break it apart, it's very, very, very hard. These guys, I can go in and I can just push and it breaks apart. So I know that they're easily digestible, chewable, and things like that. So what we're gonna do with this first is we're gonna roast this for about 8 minutes. Just to kind of get it really, really hot and toasty. So that's gonna be at 425 degrees. We're gonna marinate these mushrooms though. So we're gonna create a marinade. And I like doing it in a jar because then I can just put the mushrooms in the jar too. So I'm gonna add olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and I just need to show everyone. I think most of us know now, because I'll still get some people coming in here like, oh, your vinegar is bad. And there's this cloudy stuff on the bottom. What is that? Oh, that's so nasty. That is the best stuff. That's your mother. That is the mother of your vinegar. And so that is the stuff that's really healthy in there for you.
Chef Jess, would you be interested in sometime, there's so many recipes we can make with apple cider vinegar, like oxymils and like, adding all this stuff. Maybe we'll do like an episode where we make all these different recipes for people, for their immune system, for their gut, for all these things. You can add so many different herbs and spices.
Yep. No, I love that. Yeah, because apple cider vinegar is one of those that people always ask how to incorporate more of too, because it's hard to just take a shot of it sometimes. But it's good. Like you can make gummies out of that as well.
That's so cool. They have drinks now, I see, where they have apple cider vinegar drinks.
Yep.
But again, we can teach
our
community to make it themselves and save on the money and have it even more fresh without preservatives.
Definitely. So now we're going to take the zest of 1 lemon too. Organic, please. Okay. So if you're going to zest, make sure it's organic. If it's not, just don't do the zest. Okay. Because this is probably the area of the fruit that has the most pesticides if you aren't buying the fresh stuff, if you're not buying organic. So I'm going to take off the ends. I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice. You can measure it if you want, but for lemons, there's nothing wrong with a little extra lemon, and I'm not throwing away half a lemon. So I say just go for all of it. But again, if you are somebody who doesn't like too much lemon, I welcome you to add how much you want. And then we've also got some garlic. I'm going to mince up some garlic. Again, Allison, so the longer we chop, when we chop our garlic, let it sit to the side for about 5 to 10 minutes to get that full benefit of it. So mince it as fine as you can. The more you chop it, the more flavor you're going to get out of it too. And take that and put that inside. 1 shallot. This is optional. I like adding shallots to any kind of dressing because I feel like it enhances the garlic flavor actually. And it pulls everything together. There's just a little bit of like spice level that a shallot can give you that's different than a garlic. But you can use regular onion. You don't even need to do this. If you're noticing, this is just pretty much a salad dressing that we're putting together to marinate our mushrooms in.
I sometimes get the dried mushrooms too, Chef Jess, if I'm, that I can't go to the grocery store and just put those in some hot water, and you can do that too, like with the recipes.
Yes. And the thing with mushrooms is that they provide such like a unique flavor and texture that you can't get from anything else. I would say if you could incorporate mushrooms into your diet every day, you should. Because like even mushroom powder has like that umami flavor to it.
Yes, I love it. And probably I would recommend them to kind of experiment with various mushrooms out there, the Asian mushrooms, the maitake, all the different kind of fun mushrooms out there that help with your immune system too.
Yeah, one of the highest fiber ones that I love, like I'll eat a bowl of it. It's not, I'm sure it's still considered a mushroom, but it's called yearwood fungus.
Ooh.
Sounds so bad. Like, why would they make it? Like, I love how we call it fungus. Yeah, we cause our own problems. And so, but it's so good because it's crispy. It's like, it's slippery. It's got a unique taste. It has no taste, but has a unique texture. And so I love any kind of mushroom. Now we add the best ingredient, our French thyme.
Oh, yes, the star.
So that goes in. But you're going to ask me, how do you take it off? It's so frustrating. I've got a few tips and tricks. Easiest first one, just take it so the leaves are all growing up like that, and so you just go the opposite direction. Okay? That's it.
I love
and
it.
can go in. You can put it in your freezer. And when you put it in your freezer, what happens is you just rub the Ziploc bag and all the leaves fall off of the stem.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Or if you have kids around the house that you need to find something for them to do, like I'm constantly trying to do, needle and thread. So you take a strainer, one of the cheap ones, like from the Dollar Tree, not like a fine French one, but like the cheap ones from like Daiso or the Dollar Tree. And then you just thread it like needle and thread. And then that way you can go in.
That's so clean. That's the cleanest version.
Yes, by far. So now I'm going to take that and give it a good shake. Shake. There is our marinade. Okay, ready to go. Let me check on the mushrooms. I'm going to wait a little bit longer on the mushrooms. And while we're waiting on the mushrooms, we will talk about our chicken soup.
Ooh.
We'll come back to the mushrooms in a sec. So a lot of you know that I grew up in Taiwan. So yes, I was a chicken soup drinker all the time. And there's like a million different types of herbal chicken soups in Chinese culture. And it's funny because growing up, I loved it. But my sister, any kind of Chinese herbal root of any kind that was cooking in the house, she would have to like run the opposite direction. I remember growing up and a lot of kids would say, it's the stinky stuff that your parents made you drink to make you taller and stronger. Like that was it'll make you taller, it'll make you stronger. And so those are always the things we were told when we had them. And so the other country, so I'm from Taiwan. What's really interesting is there's a Korean dish called samyamtang. I'm sure I'm butchering it, but it's a chicken that they stuff with sweet rice, and then they cook it with ginseng, jujubes, and goji berries. And the other ingredient that they add is this, I can never say it right, astragalus root.
Yes.
Where do you buy yours? Somebody was asking where to buy it.
I get mine through Mountain Rose Herbs.
Okay.
But you can go to Frontier, or there's like a local herbal store I heard in Laguna too.
And how important is it for things like this to be organic?
Very important. Just like the lemon peel, especially the root absorbs all the toxins.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna say it's very important. That's where I stand.
So, and it's interesting because I bought mine from Amazon just because I couldn't find anything locally in the short amount of time that I had. And it's certified organic. And it comes in a kind of like bag like this that's sealed. What I find the most interesting though is the way that it's cut. So you saw the pictures that she had, and growing up, I never bought it this way either.
Oh yeah.
It's cut this way as opposed to the long way. And I think cutting it the long way, you probably get more flavor out of it.
Oh, okay.
So either way is fine. It's got a very woody smell to it. And if you can you see inside my pot? You can, right? Because I threw something.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay. Because I threw something in there that's a little bit off-putting to some people, I have a feeling. So I'm going to tell you what it is. Well, Sorry for all the noise. Do you see it? Do you see it? Does anybody see it?
No, we don't see it anymore.
Oh, you don't see it. Oh, you don't see it anymore. Okay, I'm here. Anybody see it?
Yes.
Okay. That little guy right there. So I put chicken feet inside.
Ah, it's good for you.
Yes. Extra collagen. If you can find a black silky chicken is what they're called, or an older hen, something that's a workhorse, not a chicken you're going to eat the meat off of, but a chicken that has bones that have been worked with, or like an older chicken is better for stewing something like this because you want all those nutrients from the chicken. So I have a Cornish game hen. So it's a little bit smaller, which I like because sometimes they get too big. Chickens are huge these days. They are ginormous.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take my dried shiitake mushrooms. These are not washed, everyone, okay? When you buy the dried shiitake mushrooms from the store, they literally just picked them and put them in a bag. You need to wash them. So wash them and then soak them.
Okay.
Else you'll get little pits of dirt, and we all know how dirty mushrooms can. I'm going to use the water that I soaked the mushrooms in. You can use regular water, distilled preferably.
And how long do you take to reconstitute them again, Chef?
To soak the mushrooms?
Yes.
About 10 to 15 minutes is all you should need.
Okay.
And then I said 4 slices of this. Obviously, you're not going to get 4 slices, so I did about a quarter cup. A quarter cup is what you need, yeah. And then a couple slices of ginger.
Ooh.
Okay. That gets thrown in. And then your little bit of rice wine.
And
this is optional.
Someone's asking why you use distilled water, Chef Jess?
Just because why do we use this one? The chemicals in the water might make it taste a little bit weird. There's just a reaction sometimes when you cook with sink water, I guess is the best way to say it. Like there's minerals inside that water that may flavor this kind of funky. And so the astragalus is already an earthy kind of flavor to it. And so when you use water from the sink, there's just so many other things inside of it you don't know. So I like using distilled water for something like this that I'm trying to really get flavor out of. And I don't want anything else hindering that flavor. All right. And then our jujubes. So however many jujubes you want. So those are go in, and then we're going to put this in the Instant Pot for about 45 minutes, or you can do it on your stove for 2 to 3 hours, or you can do it in a slow cooker for 8 hours. And now we have this beautiful soup ready to go. This is what I need you to know. When you add goji berries too early into food, they actually tend to turn bitter. So don't let gojis boil. When gojis boil, they don't taste very good. So add them in at the end. And then you can bring it back up to a boil. Not like a huge rolling boil, but just so that it gets heated through. Or you can just let the residual heat take care of those goji berries. So you can eat this chicken just because it's a Cornish, but then truly what you're trying to do is just drink this broth. And you can have it for breakfast. I would have this for breakfast. Like it's a good way to start the day. Yeah. But that is it with the soup. So let's finish this mushroom really quick and put them back in the jar and give it a good shake.
How do you feel about freezing the broth and, using it throughout the winter?
Oh, I would love that. That would be great. Yeah, definitely do that. Okay. If you love freezing stuff, freeze them and then you're ready to go.
And could this also be kind of a bone broth since the chicken?
Yes. Yeah. And that's why I added chicken feet. Yes. With the addition of the chicken feet, I'm getting a lot more nutrients out of it too. Oops. So yeah, use the chicken feet. And then you'll also notice that it'll gelatinize a lot more. So literally you'll keep that soup overnight in your fridge. And when you take it out the next day, it's like Jell-O. And it's all from the chicken feet then. Huh. So now I've got my mushrooms ready to go. Put them inside the jar. Gave them a good shake. And look, you've got mushrooms marinated that you could eat hot or cold, and you can serve it with anything. So you've got your thyme, you've got your fiber from your mushrooms, and then you've got your nice acids in there, citrus and apple cider. So
I love it.
oh, Sanaz, what's the name of the store in Laguna?
Oh gosh. Okay, let me look it up. Hold on.
We're here. Don't worry. Yeah. Let us know if you have more questions too. I wish you could smell this because it smells amazing in here right now.
I know. I was gonna ask, what does it smell like?
Yes.
It's called Loose Tea, and it's
Loose
called teaandturmeric.com. I've never been there, but Heather, our acupuncturist, said that there's a store down there that sells loose herbs. So check it out. Maybe we could do a field trip there one day. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Someone's asking if they need a whole chicken or if they can use the bones after
Yeah,
eating the
definitely.
chicken.
You can use the bones from after eating the chicken, and actually cooked chicken bones make a better broth than raw chicken bones. And so it's true. So if you have like a rotisserie chicken, or you collect rotisserie chicken bones like I do sometimes, they make amazing broth because cooking it starts that process then. And so, yeah, definitely use the cooked ones if you can.
I love it. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna come down there and try to smell the room after we're done here.
Well, thank you everyone for joining in, and then we'll hopefully see you next month in January. Oh, we'll see you next year. That's what I get to say. I get to say, see you next year. Oh, wow. Can't believe. Thank you all for enjoying this 2023 with us. It's been amazing, and thank you for your presence. It's always a joy with Sanaz and Katrina, and again, see you next year. Bye.
Wish you a happy, healthy new year.
Exactly.